Ripple is about to make a major update to the XRP Ledger, adding Ethereum-compatible smart contracts. And the FBI is issuing a warning that North Korean hackers is trying to go after Bitcoin ETFs. This is big, and you won't believe what a current SEC commissioner is saying about Gary Gensler. It's a pretty scathing remark. We're going to break this down and much more. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I'm sure many of you may have seen this, but earlier today, I released the first ever for this podcast and this channel, the micro documentary about BlackRock's Larry Fink's move from being a skeptic of crypto to being a fan of it. Be sure to check out that mini documentary, guys. I'm going to make more content like this. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your feedback. Now, guys, let's start by talking about Bitcoin really quickly. Right now, it's not doing anything. But what I do want to highlight, and I mentioned this in my newsletter today, be sure to sign up, that we may be in for some more pain this month. So September historically has been a bad month for the markets, especially crypto. So it could be a red month where Bitcoin pulls back further before we start rallying in October, which seasonally has been really great for Bitcoin and crypto. And a factor for that, folks, is the DXY. It was in the oversold zone. Now it's bouncing. Now, long term, I believe the DXY is going to continue moving downwards below 100, and that's what's going to carry us into the next phase of this bull market. But in the short term of September, it could rally, and of course, assets, which are inversely correlated, will start to dump. So I'm expecting a red September, and that's based on the historical data and seasonality. Now, history doesn't often repeat exactly, but it does rhyme. So let's see what happens. Maybe it's not as bad as I'm anticipating, but look, Fed rate cuts are coming this month, so things could get very volatile in addition to the DXY showing some strength. So just be prepared. Be mentally prepared for these different scenarios. We don't want to move by emotions, but rather know what the data tells us, what we've seen historically and what we can anticipate. And if things do go lower, I will be buying some more, buying the dips. That's not financial advice. So just a FYI there, folks. All right. The FBI is warning that North Korea is trying to hack and steal US crypto and Bitcoin ETF funds. This is pretty wild, guys, and they're doing it via social engineering schemes to steal crypto. So let me give you the details here. In a September 3rd notice, the FBI said North Korean malicious cyber actors were targeting workers at decentralized finance and cryptocurrency companies to steal funds through complex and elaborate social engineering campaigns. Specifically, the federal agency warned that scammers had research firms associated with cryptocurrency-tied exchange-traded funds or ETFs. Wow, this is pretty significant. And the fact that they're going after firms that have ETFs, that's the Wall Streeters, right? That's your Fidelity, your BlackRock, and so forth. But pretty incredible stuff. So just be careful. You know, if you get funny emails or someone messaging you on social media, verify. Don't trust, verify. Do all the proper checks before even replying. Don't click on certain links. So just be careful. And make sure you have strong passwords, your private keys backed up. I've often talked about I have a secondary phone and I have a secondary computer that I access my hardware wallets and things like that on. So it's not on my normal computer that I work on and all that stuff. So be careful out there, folks. This is pretty significant. It would be pretty painful to lose your crypto this way and lose your gains, especially as we're headed to that fifth wave of the bull market. All right, moving ahead, Ripple will soon add Ethereum-compatible smart contracts to the XRP Ledger. So this is a big update here, folks. So Ripple is enhancing the XRP Ledger by integrating Ethereum-compatible smart contracts via a new sidechain, expanding its functionality beyond the basic transactions to include complex applications like decentralized exchanges and token issuance. This development includes the use of the Axelar network for cross-chain token transfers, with wrapped XRP, also known as EXRP, acting as the primary token on the sidechain, facilitating broader interoperability and developer engagement. Ripple will soon add Ethereum-compatible smart contracts to the XRP Ledger using sidechain networks in a move that boosts the fundamentals of the closely related XRP token. Progress towards smart contract functionality is already underway in the XRP Ledger ecosystem, with the XRPL EVM chain, Ripple said in a press release Monday. This sidechain will bring Ethereum virtual machine compatibility to the XRP community, allowing developers to employ familiar tools and programming languages, thereby broadening the XRP Ledger's appeal to a global developer community. This is great news if you're an XRP holder. As always, they have to ship this correctly. You got to make sure that they work with the developers and support them accordingly to get things going. But this is a very positive sign. Here's what Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out about the news. He says, with new programmability in the works for the XRP Ledger, something the XRP community has rightly been asking for, and the growing opportunity for Ripple's enterprise products to serve crypto-native customers such as Futureverse using Ripple custody, the foundations of crypto infrastructure serving real-world use cases are steadily becoming more robust by the day. So big news, folks. And I am an XRP token holder as an FYI. And closely related is the Flare networks, right? Which, of course, was kind of birthed out of the XRP Ledger. Hugo Filion tweeted out about this, saying smart contracts on the XRP Ledger would make FXRP better. So that's F assets, right? On the Flare blockchain. This would make it even easier for XRP to come and be used with all the other assets on Flare coming from other ecosystems such as FBTC and bridge assets through Stargate. Additionally, for use cases that don't require interoperability through Flare, and then the Flare oracles could be used on XRPL in a way that they definitely can't today. He says, go David Schwartz. He tagged David Schwartz here. So really great news, like I said, folks, and I'm glad to see this as an XRP token holder. Now, I'm diversified. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I've said that from day one because you never know what could happen, right? Like the Ripple lawsuit that came in 2020, and that stunted XRP's potential rise in the bull market. You just don't know what could happen. So I always recommend you guys diversify. I hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Flare tokens, and much more. And I'm also always looking for different types of tokens like AI tokens, which I took a big bet on, and it has paid off well for me so far. So great news all around, I think, for the XRP Ledger, and really great to see this happening. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain, which is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains out there, being used by many big companies and brands around the world to build Web3 and decentralized app technology. VeChain's blockchain has many great attributes, such as it is secure, affordable, scalable, fast, sustainable. And many big brands use VeChain, such as PwC, Sam's Clubs, Walmart China, BMW, and many other big brands. They are also working with Boston Consulting Group. So VeChain has been around for a long time. I also hold the VET token personally. I'm bullish on this project. So if you'd like to learn more, go to vchain.org. Link will be in the description. All right, guys, moving ahead, SEC Commissioner Mark Uyeda made some big statements today, which really surprised me. Here's the headline. SEC should create customized S1 forms for digital asset securities, Commissioner Mark Uyeda said. Now, these are things we know, right? But the reason why it's not getting done is because Gary Gensler is a scumbag regulator, as we've been talking about. He's trying to protect the incumbents, the TradFi incumbents. But there's a big statement that Mark made in his talk where he said, I hope at some point, whether it's Gensler or any of his successors, will think about, we've now had a fair amount of regulatory uncertainty on digital assets. Maybe we ought to move forward with some legislation or rulemaking. There's a lot to unpack there. The way he's talking, Gensler or his successors, it's almost like he's thinking, oh, Gary's out the door. We know he's done. He's gone. So that's the first point. And he's calling for the legislation and rulemaking. And it's good that we have this other voice that's coming out this strongly, because Hester Peirce has been doing it for years. But Mark Uyeda, he often doesn't say too much about crypto. He has made statements over the years, but they're not many. And he comes out here with this strong statement. I think even the folks at the SEC see the writing on the wall, right? You have to work with this guy. And it takes balls to say things like this, right? Remember, Gensler runs the SEC and you're a commissioner that works with him. Now, Gensler's not their boss, so to speak. Hester Peirce clarified that, but it's still an awkward thing to be in that room where you're talking and discussing different cases and coming out and saying things like this. So I like this. This is really good. Moving ahead, guys, we got big news that Qatar improves regulatory clarity for cryptocurrency with newly released framework by major SEC. So all around the world, we are seeing a move towards embracing crypto regulations, clarity, and all these things are being put into place. And another major jurisdiction here supporting it. So the Qatar Financial Center has created the QFC Digital Assets Framework to provide more regulatory clarity for crypto. Companies can apply for a license to perform token service provider activities following the framework's launch. Folks, I know this is not sexy news and it's not the big headlines, but this is so bullish. This is what you want to see as a crypto investor: global adoption and clarity being added on and off ramps. I've often talked to you guys about what exchanges are doing, what licenses are they getting, what hedge funds or investment firms are launching new funds for crypto, are raising additional capital, where are they investing? These are things you need to pay attention to because it shows that there's a move towards embracing this technology and the injection of liquidity and the clarity for entrepreneurs and more investing. All of that is conducive to higher prices, guys. So the on and off ramps being built globally and clarity happening. Now, here in the United States, we would love to get full clarity and kick out scumbag regulator Gary Gensler, but in due time, right? We're making our way there. The FIT 21 bill made it out of the House. We're waiting for something to get through to the Senate. We got pro-crypto presidential candidates and members of Congress and the Senate now. So things are moving in the right direction. Wall Street's here as well. So this is really big news. Folks, let me know what you think. That's the news. Don't forget to sign up for my free email newsletter. Link will be in the description. It's 100% free. Also, be sure to grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. It's available in paperback and digital. Grab a copy to support the podcast. Grab a few copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. It makes a great gift, and it includes tips for investing. So it helps them to get the full picture about crypto. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help out my rankings. Thank you, guys. And like I said, don't forget to check out the new micro documentary, that content that I'm building. And the first one is about Larry Fink and BlackRock. Let me know what you guys think. And I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you all later.